I have none of this in my notes, so I'm just going off the top of my head. Do you see how much more
Off
of a
the dome.
flow this is than the season 1 through 3? Because I actually remember it.
Yeah.
So
You're doing great.
anyway,
Anybody who's not watched Stranger Things is like, wow, David, giving me the rundown, making me want to watch it. This is what it's all about. 99 Nerds peak content right here.
right.
Thumbs up if you agree.
That's right, Chuck.
Hello there.
Season 4. The kids are freshmen in high school. They've split up and moved to different parts of the country. 11 has been adopted by the Byers. That's Joyce, Will, Jonathan.
Okay.
Because Hop's dead.
Right, or so they think.
So 11 is being taken care of by Will, and they move to California to get away because 11 is
sure.
like the hot topic of Hawkins.
Right,
so they
right,
need to get her away. So it starts off with D&D again. This time it is the headmaster is a new character named Eddie Munson. He runs the Hellfire Club at the high school, and he is the dungeon master.
Okay.
So he runs the campaign, and basically their group of D&D is Lucas, Dustin, Mike. But basically Lucas stopped being a nerd this season. And he's like, yo, I'm gonna go play basketball. So he joins the basketball team in high school. And they're like, yo, we got D&D tonight. He's like, yo, I got the championship game tonight. And they're like, pick and choose. So Lucas chooses basketball.
Your classic High School Musical setup.
Exactly.
They weren't all in this together.
They ask Lucas's little sister, Erica, who I can't stand. She's the sassy little girl who always has some sass and is always
Sassy.
smarter than every adult in the room, and I don't like it. Anyway,
She's Leia.
yep.
I am a princess of...
So they get Lucas's little sister to join the D&D. So they're playing D&D, and there's this crazy villain, and they're all working together, and it's so powerful, and everyone's dying left and right, and it's up to Erica to try to beat the villain, the all-powerful villain, and she has to roll a high number, like a crazy high number. While this is all happening, championship game's happening. Lucas is thrown into the game at the end. He was a bench warmer, but now he's in the game, and the time's running down, and they're only down by one shot or whatever. And all while this is happening, Lucas's sister, it's up to her to win the D&D campaign. And then Lucas, it's up to him to win the basketball game. And in one moment, it's she's rolling the dice and Lucas is shooting the game winner. And she rolls a nat 20. And Lucas hits the game-winning shot. And you think everything's going to be great until it's not. Oh, no. So all while that's happening, Lucas finds favor with the jocks because he hit the game winner. So he's got a new friend group.
Troy
Boom.
Bolton.
All while this is happening, a cheerleader starts getting haunted by a clock. So she freaks out and tries to buy some weed from Eddie. All right.
Naturally.
That's the Joyce buying crystal meth. That's what I was getting at.
Okay, yeah.
We've got Chrissy, the cheerleader.
Chrissy, wake up.
She just needs some weed because she's getting haunted.
By a clock.
By a clock. Ding dong. It's actually TikTok. Yeah,
did
it's
it
more of a
for the
TikTok,
TikToks.
not a ding dong. So she tries to buy some weed, and while he goes to get the whatever, her time is up, and this new monster emerges and holds her up into the sky. She starts floating, and all of a sudden her arms start breaking and her legs start breaking, and then her brain gets squished, and she is just like in a like gruesome, like graphic, horrifying, dark, twisted death. She is just like mangled, and Eddie is just like, what the? So Eddie runs. This is all happening in the same trailer park that Maxine lives in. And while it's happening, Max, all the lights are flickering, and that's what happens with the Upside Down. That's the theme, is when something in the Upside Down's happening, the lights are flickering in the real world.
Okay.
So Chrissy is actually dating the star of the basketball team. So star of the basketball team is like, where's my Chrissy? They find her body in Eddie's trailer.
Right.
And he's like, who is this satanic D&D dungeon
Right.
master? He put a ritual on and killed her. He's
Right.
dead. We're going to find him and kill him.
Troy Bolton.
Right. So you've got this conflict of this basketball star.
Speaking of which, pause.
Eddie.
I saw a reel that it was Mike and Will getting into an argument, and somebody put a side-by-side of Troy Bolton and his girlfriend singing to each other, and it's like a perfect mirroring.
What about us? What about everything we've been through?
Sure.
So,
So
yeah.
Eddie goes into hiding because he just is freaked out by what he saw, but
Right.
no one's going to believe him. They
Right.
think he killed her.
Right.
So Eddie goes into hiding for like the rest of the season. Long story short, the kids end up finding him through some detective work, and he starts telling them what happened. And Dustin gives him the rundown of seasons 1 through 3, and he's like, well, it's not a Demogorgon, it's not the Mind Flayer. This is something different. This is, and it's all relating to the D&D campaign from the beginning of the episode,
Right.
from that general that Erica killed, Lucas's sister. And they're like, this is Vecna. So it's all about Vecna this season. We find out that 11 is getting bullied at school in California.
Californians.
And she has a moment where she's
Californians.
like, she gets really mad.
You
And
take
she's
the
like,
505 down to the 7? To the 7? There's traffic. Are you crazy?
All right. Hold on to your butts, bro.
Okay.
So 11's getting bullied. She has no powers. And so she can't really do anything about it. Mike and Will fly out to see her for spring break. Jonathan's a total stoner now. All he does is smoke. Him and Nancy have some weird thing going on where they're long distance dating, but they're not talking to each other, but they're still dating. It's really weird.
Sure. This is before FaceTime.
Right. So then we skip over to Joyce. Joyce gets a encrypted message in the mail, and it's a Russian message.
Oh, God.
And she deciphers it, and it basically says, Hop is alive. If you want him, you have to pay a lot of money.
F.
It's a ransom. So Joyce heads over to Alaska to meet the guy for the ransom. His name is Yuri. Yuri
That sounds about right.
is in works with Enzo. Enzo is a prison guard, and he's not helping Hop, but he's also like, if I get my money, you'll get out of here type of
Right.
thing. Hop's story in this season is him just trying to get out of this prison and escape. Basically, Yuri double crosses Enzo and Joyce. So he takes the money, but he also doesn't help Enzo get him out.
Oof.
Yeah. So they end up just taking matters in their own hand and taking out Yuri, and not taking him out, but
To dinner.
making him fly them to Russia and making him help them and type of thing. Long story short, they get Hopper out. Something happens. They're like, shoot, we gotta go back to the prison. We gotta go back, Kate. Lost.
We have to go back. We have to go back. Lost his goat.
I didn't really care for this part of Stranger Things. Hopper was just like, listen, Hopper's a great character, but it was just like, he's a chief police of Hawkins, but now you're gonna take his character and really expect me to believe he can get out of a Russian prison.
Right.
He's like a total whatever. He can break his thumbs to get out of stuff, and he can fight anybody and handle anything, and
Like he's Chris Pratt's new character in the new Amazon Prime series, The Terminal List,
right.
which I haven't watched yet.
Anyway, while this is all happening, Vecna strikes again. He kills this Pee Wee Herman looking dude. What?
Pee Wee Herman looking dude.
I think his name is Frank or something like that.
At least it wasn't frack. Am I right?
I know, right?
Yeah.
So, same fashion, Vecna kills him by raising him up, breaking all his bones, and then snapping his neck, and he's dead. Vecna kills again. Max starts to get haunted then.
Oh, God.
And they're like, oh no, she hears the clock. So they're freaking out. There were some murders in the past that resembled these murders. Nancy goes to whatever, figure it out. And she ends up finding the dad that was blamed for these murders of his family in prison. They talked to him, and he's like, yeah, I was next, but then my favorite song started playing, and it went away. They're like, oh, shoot, music must help stop Vecna. So then Max gets raised up, and they're like, yo! And she's like, if only I could make a deal with God. No, that's later, but she gets raised up, and Dustin's like, yo, Nancy, how do we stop this? And she's like, I don't know, try music. So they put that on. Make a deal with God. And then all of a sudden,
every reel in the history of reels right now have that song playing.
right, Kate Bush soars to the moon, her career.
No doubt.
Yeah. So the music stops it. She's able to run away from Vecna, who's in her mind doing all this stuff from the Upside Down. We find out that guilt and trauma is what Vecna feeds off of. So all these people have this guilt and trauma. Max's is Billy. She hated her brother so much, and then he sacrificed himself for her, and she didn't do anything about it. She like stood there and watched him just die. So she has this guilt eating her alive of like, I didn't do anything to help my brother because secretly I kind of wanted him to die because I couldn't stand him. So she,
Big yikes.
yeah, she has this trauma that she's trying to deal with.
I hope nobody in this room ever feels that way
Right.
about their older brother.
Yeah, me too.
Well, does what's her face feel guilty about the one chick dying in season 1?
You're doing it.
I'm doing it.
You're doing it. Yeah. Vecna ends up visiting Nancy,
Nice.
but he doesn't kill her. He just sends her a message. But he basically says like, "Remember what you did to Barb." And Nancy's like, "Yeah,
I do remember.
don't stop thinking about it." So anyway, 11 and Mike broke up. No, they didn't. They're together, but they have this weird thing. They go figure skating at a roller rink. And Will, this whole season, Will is so weird and just out of, I felt like he was just out of character. He didn't add to anything. He was just like there and weird, and he was off
Okay.
the whole time. And they're at this roller rink, and Will has a camcorder, and he's like recording everything, but he's like not having a good time. He never is. Mm-hmm. And basically, there is a little Easter egg in this that the Duffer Brothers didn't even mean to do. So Will hates his life because Mike and 11 are still just loving on each other, and he's getting nothing. So,
I mean, at this point, he's probably close to 11 because they live together now.
right, and Mike is his best friend, but they don't want anything to do with him.
So Mike still lives in Indiana.
Yes.
They live
But
in
they're
California.
visiting.
But are they visiting Indiana, or is Indiana, Mike?
No, they're visiting in Cali.
Mike is visiting in Cali.
Yes.
Okay.
So
Everyone's safe in California.
So this Easter egg,
Until the taxes come.
the Duffer Brothers didn't even mean to do this. Total accident, which is really funny. Will is so off, okay? He's got a camcorder. On the camcorder in the corner, there's like a date of like when it's being rolled. Well, the date lines up with a date back in season 1 where they celebrate Will's birthday. It's Will's birthday, and they didn't even mean to do it. And Mike and 11 want nothing to do with him, but it's his birthday.
Dang.
So, they didn't even mean to do it. It just happened to line up.
That's funny.
It is funny.
Meant to be.
So then these bullies show up at the roller rink, and they start messing with 11. And 11 has had enough. She doesn't have her power, so she can't like protect herself.
Right.
So she just walks up to this bully, takes her skate, and just starts bashing her over the head. And this chick gets messed up. Like her face is jacked up.
Yikes.
So the CIA come,
Oh, no.
and it's the good CIA though.
Oh,
There's
good.
good and bad. So the good guys want to help 11. The bad guys think 11 is the one killing people in Hawkins.
Right.
So they're like, no, we need to take her out. She's done.
Right.
Because they know about her powers. It's very similar to what's happening.
Yeah, yeah.
So there's a good sect of the CIA and there's a bad sect of the CIA. The good sect are like, 11, we'll take care of this, but come with us. We really need your help against what's happening in Hawkins. We want to help you get your powers back.
Yo.
Yeah. So they help 11, and Dr. Brenner shows up. I didn't even mention him. He's Papa. He's the guy who does all the bad things to the kids to like test their abilities and stuff.
Oh, okay.
He's not a good guy. Like he's like a bad dude.
He's like the one dude who gave Wolverine his powers.
Right. So 11 doesn't like him. He's a bad, like when she sees him, she's terrified of him. But you thought he died in season 1. The Demogorgon tackled him. So you thought he was dead. He's not. He's here. Very much alive. They're trying to get 11's powers back, but by doing this, they need to go into her memory. They need to throw memories at her and like try to trigger this thing that helped her powers type of thing.
Yeah.
So they're like going through back when she was a kid, and this whole thing started with this traumatic experience that happened in the lab where Dr. Brenner was doing something with someone, and all of a sudden everyone was passed out, and Dr. Brenner woke up and he walked into this open room, and 11 is standing there, her eyes bloody, her nose bloody. She's a little kid, and all the other experiments are dead around her.
Oh my god.
And he's like, what did you do? So this memory has been trapped in 11's head of like, what did you do? She killed everyone. She thought she did everything. So they're tapping into her memory, and it's like slowly answering more questions about seasons 1 through 3 and her.
Okay.
And you come to find out 11 is one of the most powerful ones in there. The other ones get jealous. Okay, so they play these games where they're like, you're in a circle and you go one-on-one. Use your mind to knock the person out of their circle. And 11 smokes this kid. And this kid's got an ego, and he's like, I'm number 10. I'm the best one here. So 11 smokes him, and he's like, no, I'm going to kill her because I want Dr. Brenner to love me the most. So they form this plot, and all the while, Dr. Brenner has these assistants, okay? And this assistant is like secretly like showing favor to 11, like, just so you know, he's going to try to kill you. I'm just trying to give you a heads up. And he's just like talking to her and saying like, don't trust everything Dr. Brenner tells you. We're all prisoners here, like even us, the assistants. Don't listen. He lies to you. He's a bad man. Don't listen. But then they get to the edge and he's like, I can't go any farther. You got to go because I got this thing right here, right 11, right here in my neck. And 11's like, oh, let me get that out. Boom, takes it out. The guards come and they start running together, and 11, they get cornered in a hallway. It's a hallway scene.
Oh god.
Oh my
Yes.
gosh.
I feel you, Joanna.
And this assistant, whose name is Henry, and he's so weird, he gets his hallway scene, and he looks at 11 and goes, they never told you what happened to number 1, did they?
Oh god.
And you see his wrist. He's number 1.
Whoa.
But his chip is gone.
His
So
inhibitor
now-
chip.
Yes.
Order 66.
His powers are here, and this dude is powerful.
Frickin'
This dude just kills everyone, and then he's like, 11, stay in this room. I'm going to protect you. She's like, okay. She stays in the room. She hears a lot of screaming, a lot of crying, whatever. So she walks into the other room to make sure he's okay, and everyone's dead. And he's standing there, and he's like, I told you to wait in the room. And she's like, yo, what? You just killed everyone here. So then they start fighting. And 11 overpowers him. And in the same fashion as season 1 with the Demogorgon, where she puts him up against the wall and he just like disintegrates, she does that to Henry. Now, this is all before everything. This is when she's a little kid.
Yeah.
So she puts him up against the wall and uses all her force and all her power, and it sends him into another dimension. This is how the Upside Down starts.
Oh.
Well, it always existed, but this is how the gate opened.
Gotcha.
She opened a gate.
Okay.
So Henry gets launched into this thing. Henry's a freak. Henry's weird. And he gets into the Upside Down, and because he has powers, he meets the Mind Flayer and takes over the Mind Flayer's brain. So it's him.
He's Vecna?
He's Vecna, but he was controlling the Mind Flayer the whole time. So he is the top villain. He's the top guy. And we learn he was the one in that family of murders back in the day that Nancy investigated. We learn he's the son, and he had powers, and he ended up killing his whole family. and the basketball star ends
Troy
up
Bolton.
finding Eddie.
Okay.
I don't remember what his name is, but yeah, we'll call him Troy Bolton. He ends up finding Eddie, and him and a basketball teammate start chasing him, and then all of a sudden the basketball teammate just starts floating, and then he dies, and he's the third one to go. And this guy sees it, and again, he thinks it's Eddie because
Right.
Eddie was there.
Right.
He's like, what the so anyway, yeah, he's freaked out, and the cops are asking him about it. He's like, no, dude, this was weird. This was Eddie that did this, and
Right.
the cops don't really believe him, and it's this big thing. So anyway, the bad CIA
CIB.
are trying to find 11. The good CIA went and took 11's friends and are hiding them, or are just protecting them, I guess you could say. The bad CIA show up, and the good and bad CIA have fights. People die. The kids get away. They get a transmission called Nina. It's a number, and it says Nina, and they're like, who's Nina? How do we call her? So they go to Dustin's science lab girlfriend.
She exists?
Yeah, she does. And she's super smart and like great. So they go to her house in Utah or something like that. They go all the way across the country. And she hacks into the system Nina, which wasn't a person, it's a computer. And she finds out where 11 is. It's the lab where 11's at right now.
Okay.
And they go to find her. And they show up literally at the end of everything. The bad CIA show up to the lab. They start killing people. Whatever. 11, rewind a little bit. 11 is going into a float therapy chamber, and they're just trying to like trigger her power again to
Right.
get it back. And you learn Henry teaches her through her past because she's just going through memories. So that's what you're learning. All about her past is from her memories. Henry is in these memories. Henry is Vecna, but before he was Vecna, he's telling her how to channel her power, and basically says like, you need to have something that makes you mad or makes you sad or something to tap into. So she taps into this thought that her mom, they took her mom away from her. Like when they took her, her mom came to try to save her, and they took her away. And that thought constantly triggers her to like reach the next level. That's how she beat Henry in the lab. She reached the next level by channeling that thought, getting rid of him. So, long story short, 11 gets her powers back. The CIA infiltrate the lab. They kill everyone. Dr. Brenner, they snipe out of a helicopter.
Oh.
11 turns around
Get
and brings
wrecked.
the helicopter down.
Oof.
It's legit.
So at this point, was Dr. Brenner like a good guy? Was he helping 11 get her powers?
He had selfish motives. He was trying to use her for things. He was trying to use her to get into the Upside Down the whole time. He wanted Henry back, number one.
Oh.
So that's where you learn like the seasons 1 through 3, what the CIA was up to was actually like trying to use 11 to get there and get him type of thing. They knew about him.
Okay. What was his motivation before that though? Like why was 11 and Henry and all those other patients there? Was it like an CIA experiment to defeat the Russians?
Yeah. So yeah, a lot of it had to do with the Cold War. And then on the other side, there's the Russians with Hop. I forgot about that.
Right.
They find the Demogorgon gets loose in the prison, and they're like, well, we can't go help 11 and everything back home because that's going to take us too long to get back. Let's just go back to the gate in the prison where the Demogorgon is to help her in the Upside Down there.
Sure.
So they go back and they have this epic duel with the Demogorgon. Hop ends up finding a sword and fighting the Demogorgon. And it's
I'm
just
sure
like,
they're just lying around in a Russian prison.
right. So, yeah, Hop kills the Demogorgon. So 11, while all this is happening, they get word that like Maxine is like gonna die. Like Maxine knows Vecna is coming. Her time's ticking. She's done. So she's so annoying through the whole episode. Dude, they do this thing where she's like, well, I know I only have 24 hours to live, so like whatever. Like she's so like sassy and like everything she says, she relates back to the 24-hour thing. Like, Maxine, like, what do you want to do? Like, what are we gonna do? Like, we have to help you. And she's like, well, or how are you? Well, for someone who's only got 24 hours to live, I mean, I'm all right. It's like, shut up. Try to do something. Try to help. So she starts writing letters to everyone of like, just in case Vecna does get her.
Here's the thing though, David. I've never been in a situation where I knew 24 hours from now I'm going to beat my end.
Yeah,
I
but
imagine you would be probably in a not great mood.
Right, but not a good mood. Her mood is like just sassy and like, I mean, I'm as good as I can be for someone who's only going to live for 24 hours.
Fair enough.
It's like, shut up. So they're like, yo, just keep playing that song. We were running up that hill. And that's how you keep Vecna away.
Your friends have lost.
They find out that Vecna has killed 3 people now. They find out that all he has to do is kill 4 people to open up a gate in Hawkins, like a giant gate. Like it opens up 4 gates that all connect,
Like-
and swallow Hawkins, and the Upside Down is gonna
Is
take
Hawkins.
over. Yeah.
Shoot.
So that's his whole plan.
It's like in Minecraft
yeah,
when you face the dragon.
yeah, the dragon and the Nether.
So I haven't seen Stranger Things, but I saw a reel that theorized that Vecna is not the worst creature in the Upside Down.
No, the dragon.
And that there's actually a dragon.
Yeah, I saw it. Because there is a foreshadow where Will talks. So Mike is like super like nervous about Elle because they don't know where she is. And he's like, so like, oh, we just got to find her. We got to help her, whatever. And Will the whole time is being like super out of character and just like, he's just there. He's like,
Yeah.
I don't know. It's like weird. So then Will just like hypes Mike up like, no, you're the source of her power. Like your like love for her is what keeps her going. And if she was here, I just know. And then he starts going on and on about how much Eleven loves him and how without him, she would be nothing, and how he helps her get through everything, and how he was there when she beat the Demogorgon in season 1, and how, Mike, you're the key. You're the head of this party, the D&D campaign. And it's like he's showing all this, and he like, there's like a dragon in it. It's like a weird foreshadow where like there is probably gonna be a dragon in season 5. But he says all this, and Mike's like, yeah, you're right. And he like turns, and then Will is looking out the window just crying. And then you realize Will has been in love with Mike the whole time. So that's why he's like, it's gross that you guys want to keep talking to girls in season 3. He's like, come play with me, like come play D&D, because Will has been into Mike the whole time. So
I mean, he does have a woman's haircut.
he has a bowl cut.
No, not Will, Mike.
Oh, what?
Mike's got long flowing locks.
I have none of this in my notes, so I'm just going off the top of my head. Do you see how much more
Off
of a
the dome.
flow this is than the season 1s through 3? Because I actually remember it.
Yeah.
So
You're doing great.
anyway,
Anybody who's not watched Stranger Things is like, wow, David, giving me the rundown, making me want to watch it. This is what it's all about. 99 Nerds peak content right here.
right.
Thumbs up if you agree.
So they hatch this plan. They're like, we know he's coming for Maxine, but we know he's like 11, and we know 11 when she's in her sleep chamber, she is incapacitated.
Sure.
She's in a different, her
Right,
mind
right,
is
right.
elsewhere. So her body is just there.
Yeah.
So they're like, that has to be the same thing with Vecna. While he's doing this to Max, he must be somewhere in the Upside Down doing that.
And he's vulnerable.
He's vulnerable. So we need to use Max as bait. Someone needs to go into the Upside Down.
Classic.
Well, we find out they go back to the gate. It's actually really cool. This is probably my favorite scene. They go back to the gate in Eddie's trailer where Vecna came to get Chrissy. And it's open. They can literally see, like they're standing on the floor of the trailer, and they look up at the ceiling and they can see the floor of the trailer in the Upside Down. So they like throw a bed sheet, and the bed sheet like perfectly like goes straight, like making a
Gotcha.
super easy access point. Because if you think about it, if gravity's going like this, gravity's going like this.
Right.
Yeah, if you throw a bed sheet, it's gonna go
Right.
I thought it was really cool, actually. So now they have like a way to get in and out of the Upside Down.
Cool.
It's in Eddie's trailer. In the Upside Down, however, there are these bats now. Super crazy bats that will eat you. So they hatch this plan. Everybody's got their task. Everybody's got something to do. 11 is in Cali, though, in like Nevada or something. I don't know, in a desert somewhere where the lab was. And she's like, we don't have enough time to like get to Maxine. I can't. So she's like, I'll just do what I did in season 1 when I tried to find Will. I just need like a picture. I need a float therapy. I can leave my brain. I can access her. I can talk to her. I can do all this stuff. So while this is happening, Lucas takes Maxine to... Lucas and Max are together. And it's like super scary. Like Max, like he's going to try to kill you. But while he's doing that, we have someone in the Upside Down to kill him. You've got your music. You can run away from him because the music just like, I don't know, messes with him.
Do they ever explain that? Why the music does that?
No, I think so. I don't think so. But if I had to think about it, do you know how, and I know this from you, remember you did float therapy
Yeah.
and you were taken out of it because your phone rang? Boom.
Okay.
That's it. That's the best way I can explain it.
I did it one time and I was ticked because I did not turn off my phone. And my phone went off and lit up the room. And I was kind of bloated. I had some gas.
Right.
It's fine.
He was eating beans.
Beans? Beads? Bees? Beads.
So, yeah. So, this idea of, you know, the music is going to take away his ability to, like, focus. Type of thing.
Okay.
I think that's what that is. I could be so wrong. I don't know. But
I hear you.
So, Nancy and Steve are together this whole season.
Sure.
But Nancy's dating Jonathan, but Jonathan's not with them.
He's in Cali.
So the whole time you're like, yo, but Steve is like, honestly, Nancy, like, I'm not a ladies' man anymore. Like, I've humbled myself. You know, I was a jerk to you. I wish I was better, because if I was, we would probably be dating right now.
Dang.
And the whole time you're like, dang, like Steve turns into like a babysitter role where he like helps the kids and he actually is like the man.
Gotcha.
You actually really end up liking Steve. So Eddie and Dustin are in charge of luring the bats in the Upside Down. Now, Eddie is in his trailer in the Upside Down, and he finds his guitar, and he's like, yo, I'm about to rip.
Let's do it.
So Eddie throws a concert in the Upside Down. It's legit. That's how he attracts all the bats, so the bats can leave, so that Nancy, Steve, and Robin can go to Vecna's house. It's the house where the murders happen. They find out that's where he's at.
Okay.
Because while stuff was happening to Max, all the lights were flickering in the house there.
Okay.
So they knew he must be here. This is his setup. Boom, we know he's going to be here. So they go to the Upside Down. They're in charge of killing Vecna while he's doing the thing to Max.
Right.
So then 11 is like, okay, if I can access Max's head while Vecna's trying to access her head, I can fight Vecna in her head.
Right.
It's kind of like the Professor X scene
Wanda.
with Wanda.
Yeah.
So Vecna thrives off of trauma and
Guilt.
So he takes them to, he uses that in their memory. So he takes them to a place in their head where Billy's dying for Max.
Sure.
Billy's sacrificing himself and being like, why aren't you helping me? Like messing with her.
Yeah.
And so Max thinks, if I can just control my memories and like think of happy thoughts and bring him to those thoughts rather than him bring me to my thoughts. So she brings him to a happy place, which is the dance at the end of season 2 where Lucas and her kiss. It's like, aw, that's her happy moment. Lucas is there. Now Lucas is in charge of the music on her head. So Vecna accesses her head. 11 goes into her head. And she starts getting possessed, and he's like, oh, shoot, I better get the music. As he's going to do it, boom, star of the basketball team walks in and is like, you're doing the ritual. I knew you were in that D&D thing. You're doing that ritual to Max right now. you're helping Eddie with this stuff. What is happening? And he pulls out a gun. He's like, I'm gonna kill you, Lucas. And Lucas is like, you have to believe me. Like, I'm trying to help her right now. And he has none of it. So Lucas and him start fighting. And while they're fighting, this basketball star breaks the music player.
Oh, no.
So Max has no music now. So
Troy Bolton, you son of a G.
So Vecna, 11 are fighting. And they're just like, that's it. That's all. That's literally the fight scenes. And then someone goes flying. That's it.
Pull out a saber, please.
But
I mean, that's essentially what Ryan Johnson did in episode 8. Am I right, guys?
yeah.
Lame.
Dr. Brenner, however, before he died, he told 11, "You're not strong enough to face Vecna. Like, we need to do more experiments on you." And she's like, "No, I need to help my friend." So there's that like lingering thought, like she's not strong enough. Her powers aren't 100%.
Right.
So she's fighting Vecna. She puts up a good fight. Vecna ends up beating them, taking Max, floating her up, breaking an arm, breaking a leg, and then that, I don't know exactly how the timing works, but Nancy and them, that's when they show up in his house and start shooting him and lighting him on fire. And it's actually 11 who is too weak to stop him. It's actually 11 who does it. It's not Nancy, but who's too weak to stop him. She remembers Henry told her to channel your power, to give you your ultimate, like go Super Saiyan. You have to channel that thought, that sadness, that mad anger, whatever. What's the Palpatine line? Something about hate. I can't remember right now. Yes, I feel your anger. Whatever.
Are you going to kill me? I would certainly like to. Oh, I know you would. I can feel.
I'm too weak. Anyway, so 11 is losing, and while she's like losing, her body is like freaking out. And this is where Will again is like, Mike, you're the key to her power. So Mike just gets in her ear and is like, I love you. Like, you're the reason for all that, whatever. He just gives her a hype speech. And then 11 is super powered, charged, and then stops Vecna.
Just to add one more layer of the ultimate editing that's going to have to take place in this podcast.
Yeah.
Professor X tells Magneto in X-Men First Class to maximize his power that he should harness. Yeah. You've been talking a lot.
It's like an hour and 50 minutes.
Professor X tells Magneto to harness his power, that he needs to channel a memory that is happy. You know what I'm talking about?
No.
It's when he's trying to... Jeez, man. It's when he's trying to move the satellite. And he says, like, don't just try to use your power. Gosh, I wish I can't remember the exact clip. It's all right. I'm going to play it over my face right now.
You don't have to wait. Like, on editing, it doesn't work like that.
So then... So he channels the happy memory of him and his mother, and he's able to move the satellite, and he's crying, and he's happy, and he's moving the satellite. And I think about that sometimes when I'm trying to lift weights or...
I feel it.
It's one of my favorite superhero movie scenes.
So,
Don't
anyway,
embrace the anger, embrace the love.
Max, back to the ending. Max was like 70% Vecna'd.
Oof.
Like snapped, but she didn't go all the way. So Lucas is watching and he can't help. The love of his life is just being like...
So what happens with Troy Bolton?
It's really rough.
He smashed the music player, and then what?
They got into it, and I honestly don't remember. I know Lucas like beat him somehow. He
Knocked him out or something.
Yeah, something happened. I don't remember. But Yeah, Lucas just watches as Max just gets
Yoinked.
and
Murked.
yeah. So 11. So they all while this is happening, Nancy and them shoot Vecna. Vecna's body flies out the window and disappears. Like, oh, he's not done yet. You think he's dead. Max is like dying in Lucas's arms. And this is the 4th kill for Vecna. I mean, she's dying. And 11 is in her consciousness still and is like, wait, no. Like 11 saw all this happen.
Yeah.
So 11 is like, no, I'm going to stop this. And then the next thing you know, Max is in a hospital with broken arms, broken legs, but her heartbeat's going. But she's nothing going on.
Yikes.
So I don't think 11 was strong enough to save her, but she was strong enough to like keep her alive, even though she's like not alive.
Yikes.
So yeah, but Max died for a second. So the portals opened up in Hawkins.
Oof. I see what you're saying.
And it started happening. And then 11 brought Max back, so it like stopped type of thing.
Okay.
It like put it on pause because Max is still alive.
Right.
Kind of. So it kind of ends with the Upside Down is coming. And like it's inevitable. It's coming. There's another season coming. And Will like can sense, he still has that mind flayer connection. And he's like, no, I can sense Vecna's not dead. We hurt him really bad, but he's coming. So Will can sense this. And yeah, and that's kind of how it ends.
So Vecna's not defeated.
He was defeated in the moment, but he's gonna come back.
Gotcha. Riding a dragon.
Yeah, probably.
Shoot. Dang.
Yeah.
So 11, does she still have her powers then? But she's not fully...
Yeah.
Okay.
And then Joyce and Hopper come home at the end, and they have their reunion. Hopper and 11. And he's like super fit now. Like,
Nice.
because in the prison he was just working out and trying to escape. And
As one does.
yeah.
Sean knows about that. Remember? 2005 to 2008? No. Okay.
It is over. Now I just want you to watch.
So
Well-
yeah, that's Stranger Things.
That was pretty, I would say 7 out of 10 strange.
Yeah.
I guess when I watch it, I'll know truthfully how strange it truly is. So that's Stranger Things. Well, I think I'm going to watch it. You've convinced me. Because now that I kind of know who dies and who lives. See, I'm not a big suspense guy. I can't handle the like, everybody you know in this show might die in this episode and you don't know what's going to happen. So now that I know, like, okay, Samwise Gamgee gets yoinked. That one chick in season 1 gets yoinked. Barb.
Yeah.
I think it sounds really great. I think there's a reason every single person on the planet is talking about it.
Yeah.
I felt left out, but now I'm included. I know about the stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know everything, but maybe I'll watch it. Just maybe. I'll have to go to TZ's house, though.
Right. All right. Like, comment, subscribe.
Do all of that. Find us on Spotify. Find us on anywhere you get your podcasts. We're on there, and you can find us.
And literally just comment anything. I don't even care.
Like, literally. You like David's shirt?
I don't.
You don't like your shirt?
I'm getting hot.
It's hot in here. All right. Well, thanks, guys. We appreciate your viewership. Let's keep this 99 trains rolling. Let's send it to the moon. Only you can do that, though, by telling your cousin's brother about it, telling your aunt's sister about it. Everybody you know needs to learn that 99 Nerds is the way. So tell them. Thanks, guys. Peace.